New Year's resolution 2020. Have you ever made a New Year's resolution before? And did you end up even sticking to the resolution by the second week of January? Or maybe you did. How about February? How many times have you made New Year's resolutions and you didn't even make it through January? Or you definitely, let me ask you this. Here's a better question. How many times have you ever made a New Year's resolution that you actually stuck to? My guess is for most of you, you've always had great intentions, but you never really stuck to a New Year's resolution. Yet year after year, you're in one of two places. You either give up and quit because you've made New Year's resolutions so many times, or every year you get optimistic, so you create that new resolution. You're gonna make more money. This is the year you're gonna start a business. You're gonna grow your income. This is the year that you hit that six-figure income. Or maybe you're gonna lose weight, whatever it is, you're gonna pay off the debt or pay off that credit card. This is the year. You're gonna set that New Year's resolution, and it's gonna happen this year. Listen, I wanna tell you something. If you do what you've always done, you're gonna get what you've always gotten. So I'm gonna talk to you in this video about how to set New Year's resolutions that you actually succeed with. You see, several years ago, I set New Year's resolutions that changed my life. And I still practice exactly what I did back then to this day. And it's what I'm doing. In fact, I've even amped it up a few notches this year. You know why? Because this is 2020. This is the start of a new decade. I believe this could be, I always like to look at brand new beginnings as a fresh start. Every Monday, people are like, thank God it's Friday. I don't really care that it's Friday. I'm self-employed. I set my own hours. I work my own schedule. And you're going to be doing the same thing one day if you want to. In fact, I believe you're going to do it this year. But here's the thing. I get excited about Mondays. Monday morning is fresh opportunity. Monday morning is a brand new start. Is there something that I wanted to do better from the previous week? Monday's my day to do it. I get excited on Sundays thinking about the brand new start on Mondays. I do the same thing with first of the month. First of the month, January 1st or February 1st or whatever, December 1st. First of the month, I'm excited because I believe it's a brand new start to the month. First of the year, likewise. But what about the first of a decade? The first of a decade. This is your first shot at this next 10-pack. You've got 10 years. 10 years from now, your life can be radically different than you ever even imagined. I want you just to close your eyes for a moment and think about what could happen in 10 years. Not only could you make your first dollar working from home, or your first $1,000, or your first $100,000, you literally could become a millionaire in the next decade. It did not take me 10 years to earn my first $1 million. You could go even further than that. You could be totally, financially, utterly, financially independent by every definition of the word over the next 10 years. Think about that. Over the next 10 years. But if you make New Year's resolutions the way that you've always made them before, the New Year's resolutions for 2020 are going to be no different. So I want to cover with you a few reasons why most people struggle with making New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to show you how to make a New Year's resolution that you're going to be able to stick to. And by the way, stay tuned towards the end of this video. I want to talk to you about some plans that I've got coming up specifically for this channel, and I'll cover that more towards it. And I'm talking about specifically for this channel throughout 2020, so you're not going to want to miss it. So stay tuned towards the end of the video, and we'll talk about that. Okay. So the main reasons that most people, I think there's 3 reasons that most people that I came up with, that most people really struggle with New Year's resolutions. First of all, let me just say this. You got to make a New Year's resolution first. You got to make the New Year's resolution first. The one thing that a lot of people do is they basically try to how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Most people try to choke on their goals for 2020. A resolution, you want it to be the one thing that has to change in your life, not the 35 different things. What is the one thing that has to change? Well, I want to be able to, pay off my mortgage. I want to buy a new home, So therefore your New Year's resolution might be, I want to make more money, for example, or I want to pay off debt and improve my credit, whatever. But you keep talking about all the things you want to get done. reduce it back to the simplest common denominator. What's the thing that has to get done this year? If it's make more money, then let me ask you, what's the reason that you want to make more money? If it's lose weight, what's the reason that you want to lose weight? I mean, not the reason that's really nice and polished that everybody hears. Like, money's a funny thing. People rarely will say, I want to make more money because I want to live a much better life. I want to take luxury vacations, drive nice cars, go nice places. People aren't comfortable with that. So they'll always have to say something like, well, I want to make more money because I want to give. Or they'll say, I want to make more money, but not too much. I don't want to be greedy. Now listen, I have talked to people and I have coached people for years on this very topic right here. And one person will say, I want to make more money because I don't want to be greedy. Okay, well, what's more money for you? Well, I would just like to make an extra $1,000 a month. Okay. And I've had people say, well, I want to make more money, but I don't want to be greedy. Okay, what's not greedy for you? Well, I just want to make $10,000 a month. Okay. Who am I to determine whether you make that money or not? It doesn't matter. See, you can't feel guilty about your New Year's resolution. I want to lose weight. What do you want to lose weight for? Well, I want to be healthy. I want to be around for my kids and my grandkids. I'm not saying that that's not your goal, but if that has not motivated you at this point in your life, then it's not going to motivate you going forward. And you have to come down to the ridiculous, like the simplest part of the equation. You want to lose weight. Then what do you want to lose weight for? You want to make more money. Then what do you want to make more money for? If the answer is, I want to lose weight because I want to have a six-pack for the first time in my life, great. If it's, I want to lose weight because I want to look like that swimsuit model that I saw on the magazine, great. Go for it. Who's to tell you you're not? Who's to tell you you can't be that next swimsuit model? You're like, well, I'm too young or I'm too old. Well, you're gonna get far closer to that goal than you ever would have if you'd have never made it and chased after it. So if that's your goal, go for it. I grew up poor. I want to be rich. Do you know there was a time when that was my driving motivation? I grew up poor and I wanted to be rich. And it wasn't so much rich for me as much as I wanted to accomplish the things that other people said I couldn't. That was probably the root of it right there. People didn't believe in me. My own mother at some points in my life didn't believe in me. No one encouraged me. They told me either they didn't believe me, they didn't think I was smart enough to have any sort of real financial success, or they didn't think that I was able to because of where I came from. I don't know. Because they knew that I wasn't that smart. I don't know. I don't know what it was. But I knew that people didn't believe in me, and I wanted to prove people wrong more than anything. Listen, that might be you. That's not a noble reason, but it doesn't matter. You have to understand what motivates you. You have to be honest with yourself. That's reason number 2. What do you want to accomplish? Come down to the common denominator. What is it really? If it's more money, great. If it's paying off your debt, what do you want to pay off that debt for? Well, I want to pay off debt so I can afford to finance a bigger home. Okay. That doesn't sound good. It's not what you're going to post on Facebook. You're going to say, I want to pay off debt so I can have less stress. And that might be it. That might be your goal. Maybe you want to pay off debt because you're about to have a heart attack under the burden of debt that you're in. That's fine. But you have to be honest with yourself. What is your reason? Nobody gets to judge you for your reason. And you don't have to tell anybody what your reason is, but you have to know what your reason is, and you have to be honest with yourself first. So what is the reason? The second thing is be honest with yourself about the reason, about why. Why do you want to pay off your debt? Why do you want to make more money? There's no right or wrong answer. It's being honest with yourself. I've done a training called Map Your Destiny several years. In fact, this is the first year that I haven't done it out of probably 4 years. Map Your Destiny. And in that training, it's about mapping out your destiny for the future, the rest of your life. But one of the things I talk about is becoming crystal clear with your goals and why they're important to you. New Year's resolutions are the same thing. Be crystal clear on why it's important with you and be honest with yourself. Now, here's the third thing. And this is probably the most important reason why people don't stick to New Year's resolutions. Be ever present and very aware of your time. Here's what I mean by that. It's real easy to say, I want to lose 30 pounds this year or 50 pounds this year, whatever your goal is. Or I want to make $100,000. It's very easy in January to say, I want to make X, or I want to do X in the next 12 months. And it's really easy to procrastinate the first week because you got 51 more, or the second week because you got 50 more, or the first month because you have 11 more. What happens is you don't become aware and time slips away. And before long, you started out doing some pretty good habits that were going to lead that way. You didn't quite get there. You lost focus. You didn't stay on track on time going by. All of a sudden you get to June or July and you feel like, I don't have enough time. I'm not going to be able to accomplish it. And you give up on it. And then what do you do next year? You create a New Year's resolution. You don't have clarity. You're not really honest on why you want to accomplish it. You don't reduce it down to the simplest thing. And then you lose track of time again. I believe most people aren't aware. Before you know it, you're 30 years old. Before you know it, you're 40. Before you know it, you're 50. Before you know it, you're 60. And you're like, why didn't I? My whole life went by me and I didn't even realize it. Your kids start out, you got babies, and the next thing you know, they're 5 years old. And before you know it, they're 18. And it's like, how did it happen? It happened because you were not consciously aware of your time. You cannot let 2020 go by and you not reach your goals because you just let the time slip by. Here's what I recommend. What are you going to do each month to get towards that goal? And if you don't accomplish every single thing, what did you do well? Go back to the video that I talked about, the last video I did where I said how to get everything that you want by not focusing on the things you don't want. Something like that. I can't remember the exact title, but it was along those lines. I'll put it up in the top right-hand corner. You can click on it and watch it. But go watch that video. Because I talk about making certain if you don't accomplish everything you want in January, you have to focus on what you did accomplish well and then move to the next thing. You know, one thing I didn't show in that last video is kind of like if you, I've seen it shown with a piece of paper and even your hand. If you take your hand and you look in front of you and you push your hand all the way up to your nose, you can almost not see anything on the other side of your hand, and it takes up an enormous part of your vision because this is what you're focused on right here. This is what you're focused on. Even if you do it this way, you can't see anything. This is what you're focused on. But when you pull it back and you look into perspective, it's like you have all your periphery again. You can see all around it. And all of a sudden, this thing here is not such a big deal in the whole big picture. It's just an inconvenience. That's part of what you focus on. If you're focusing on the big picture, what you didn't get done in the month of January is not a big deal. Cut yourself some slack. It's not a big deal. Focus on all the things that went well and improve upon that going into February. Don't give up on your entire year or your entire decade because January doesn't go the way that you want it to. But I would encourage you starting in January, hold yourself accountable to your time. Note, the first is gone. What am I going to do on the second? Every single day, look at that calendar. I gave you some great exercises in the last video. Go back and watch that video if you didn't. Go back and watch that video. Use some of the exercises. I gave you 2 things that you can do every day, every morning and every evening. And you want to make certain that you go do that. And I would say do it every single day. Not just in January, but create a habit in January that you're going to carry throughout the rest of the year. Here's what that habit does. Here's what those techniques that I taught you in the last video, here's what they do. They help keep you very aware of time. See, most of the time, we don't accomplish our goals because we're not willing to change. That's reason number 4. We're not willing to change and we get complacent. But the reason that we get complacent is because we're not focusing, we're not aware of our time, and we're not aware of how much time is slipping by us. So don't become complacent. Be very careful. Be very aware of time. The time that you have, the time that's slipping by, and the time that you still have to be able to utilize what you need to do to be able to accomplish what you need to do to reach your goals. Listen, 2020 is not just about a year. It's about the start of a freaking decade. 10 years from now, you'll be 10 years older, but 10 years from now, your life can be 10 times better than it is today. And if you want your life to be 10 times better, smash that like button. Let me know you want your life to be 10 times better. And do me a favor. I know sometimes people have 2, 3, 4, 5 New Year's resolution. Remember, the first thing I said was keep it simple. One main New Year's resolution. Put it down in the comments. Let me know, what is your main New Year's resolution that you want to accomplish in 2020? Now, I want to tell you what I have planned for this channel coming into the rest of 2020 because I want to put up content that helps you accomplish your goal. What I am passionate about more than anything else is being able to help poor kids become rich kids. You know, I grew up relatively poor. We didn't have a whole lot. I lived in a single wide trailer We used kerosene heat sometimes because we couldn't afford to run the heater all the time. At one point, there was 5 of us living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, single wide trailer. There was 2 bedrooms. I had a half brother who slept on the floor, and at one point a half sister also who slept on the floor when she lived with us. Literally, that was their permanent place of sleeping. And that's how I grew up. Today, my home is far larger than that. I live in a much different life today. My parents worked 70 hours a week, 80 hours a week. I would only see my dad for a few hours. He would have to go back in the evening for his job. He was a dispatcher of a lumber yard, and he have to go back in the evenings and lock up and close up, and it was crazy. He was oftentimes gone first thing in the morning when I got up, or he was leaving out the door, so I never really got time to spend with him, and I didn't want to be that person. And I've been able to transform my life, and I love seeing other people's lives change. You know, when I get phone calls or messages and someone says, hey, I've been able to pay off debt, or hey, I made my first $1,000, or I had my first 6-figure year, or like Megan and Rob who said, hey, we just purchased a home. We wouldn't have been able to do that had we not got started working with you. Like, I love that. And I want you to be able to do that with the content that you get from this channel. So if you're looking for 2020 to be the best start of your life going forward, then hit that subscribe button, because you're not going to want to miss anything. So I've got several things coming up. I've got an interview coming up with a young lady who was very successful at driving Uber, and she's going to talk about, she's seen people succeed, she's seen people fail. She's going to talk about some of the things that she sees that helps people maximize their income when they're doing things like driving Uber. I've got some entrepreneurs I'm going to bring on the channel. We're going to do some interviews about people that have been extremely successful who started without a whole lot. I've got some content, specifically one of the things that I run into that I see over and over online, especially on YouTube videos, is people talking about how to create a business, how to create a website, how to do this. No, listen. I have been able to master helping people to be able to start and run businesses without being very technically savvy. And the reason I've been able to do that is because that's how I built a business. I literally made my first $1 million by picking up the phone, reading a script, And it was an online business, mind you, but I literally pick up the phone, read a script, and my first $70,000 year on a part-time basis was reading a script. Literally. My first 6-figure year was the same thing, reading a script. My first $1 million, how did I do it? By reading a script. Very non-technical, except I made it a tremendous income. I don't believe you have to be the most technically savvy person. We'll cover some of those topics because people like to hear about them, but you don't be intimidated if you don't know how to create websites. You don't have to be able to create websites to be able to build a business working from home. There are ways to be able to hire other people very inexpensively to be able to create those websites for you. Over the next year, I'm going to be covering content about how to start, grow, build a business, how to start making money. If it's starting with a side hustle. One of the first things I ever did, I have a video coming out about this. One of the first things that I ever did in college to try to make money was I literally, you would check my email to be able to earn an income. Isn't that crazy? There was something else that we did. We would listen to, at the time there was a website called Radio Free Cash. It's defunct now, but they would literally pay you to listen to the radio. So if there's nothing else, I'm a scrapper when it comes to, finding ways to be able to earn income from home. I've got a video I'm going to put out. There's a company that I know of right now that practically anybody can go to their website and they will pay you $100 for just watching some videos, learning about their company. True story. I'm not kidding. They will pay you. In fact, it's over $100 now. I think it's closer to $130 now they'll pay you. It tends to go up. I'll give you the full details. I'm going to be covering that on a video. You don't want to miss it. So make certain that you hit that subscribe button. So I'm planning to do interviews. I'm planning to cover content. One more thing I'm going to do. There's a lot of stuff online that's kind of gimmicky, and I'm going to debunk some of that. I'm going to tell you the truth. And when I say gimmicky, it's not that it's wrong. Like I saw something recently that said, how to make money, copying and pasting ads. Can you do that? Yes, sort of. Technically, you can do that. Is it overpromised what they say when they tell you can do that? Absolutely. I'm actually going to run an experiment where I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you if it works and if it doesn't work and what happened, what I was able to create. I'm going to do, can you make money filling out surveys? I covered that in a previous video. I'm going to show you how much I've been able to earn creating surveys. So my whole goal is to be able to show you what works, what doesn't work, and what doesn't work, and kind of cut through the nonsense that's out there. So hopefully this is going to be content in 2020 that you're going to love, you're going to enjoy, And I suspect together we're going to build a community of people who are working together, sharing ideas, sharing common goals, sharing common interests, but together we're becoming better and better people. We're changing our lives. 2020 is the year that you're going to change your life. You have to. There are other people counting on your destiny. This has to be your year. Don't stop. Don't slow down. Make up your mind. Now's the time that you prove the naysayers wrong. Now's the time that you step up into your calling in the way that you believe that your God called you to. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. Hit that bell notification icon because you don't want to miss any videos that come up. Stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to talk to you about something that we're doing going into the new year. In fact, I plan to get this video up hopefully tomorrow for you. So stay tuned for that, but you don't want to miss it. What we're doing into the new year to be able to help solidify our New Year's resolutions, because my wife and I both have New Year's resolutions. So thank you so much for watching. Take care.